What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and in this one we have why the Aussie accent is so hard. Yes, I feel like a good explanation of this accent. Now, I absolutely love the Aussie accent. After so many videos, I myself feel like an honorary Aussie. I can't do the accent. If I try to do it, it sounds stupid. But I feel like Aussies are my family at this point. Before we dive in, though, if you haven't to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. Talk to me.
$900 dues to buy us. Are you done?
It's at $900 dues.
Great. Now let's cut the BS and get real. What?
No, nothing's going on around here. It's completely innocent.
What accent is that?
On the side
Jamaican?
table.
Aussies have a pretty distinct accent, and it's one that Hollywood finds hard to imitate. Imitate well, that is.
Yeah.
Who do they think I am? Some stupid Aussie drongo?
But every now and then we get something like this.
Life is sharks. 100 million years ago, when the dinosaurs lay dying, last thing they saw was sharks.
Here's Liev Schreiber's own accent for comparison.
To be an actor, or I guess to do anything in show
Oh
business,
my
the first thing you have
God.
to be willing to do is make a complete ass of yourself.
Not that you did, Leah.
Shout out to my boy, because that was incredible. And I'm sorry, this isn't about Aussies, but this is more about the Brits, bro. When they be in these American movies and you hear their real accent, but you hear them in when they playing an American, it's scary. It's scary the way like actresses and actors are able to change their accents. It's special. Okay, let's continue.
So, what makes the Aussie accent so hard to do properly?
It is really challenging because it's similar to a lot of different accents. It has components of a lot of different accents, and I think that's where people get derailed.
Letha McPherson is a dialect coach and the head of voice at the Victorian College of the Arts.
I always find it quite pleasing when I listen to accent tapes where one person is demonstrating 17 different accents.
That's
and you go,
crazy.
wow, impressive, and they get to the Australian and you go, nah.
I've not met one American person that can do an Aussie accent. Most likely this one included.
To understand the intricacies of the Aussie accent,
Not
we have
one.
to take a look at how it was born.
The Australian accent started more than 200 years ago in January 1788, when the first European settlement landed. Aboriginal Australians were already here at the time, of course, but English was a foreign language to them. The first colonies of Australia mainly came from southeastern England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales.
Okay.
It was the children of these colonists who would have created the Australian accent. These children had their parents' accents, but also would have been influenced by the other children around them.
True.
By the 1830s, these different sounds caused a new and distinct accent to emerge. Even as late as the mid-1900s, you can still hear that British influence. But over
So it
time,
sounds like the Aussie accent is a mixture of many different accents. It's, you know what I'm saying? You got the Ireland, you got Scots, you got all these different accents, and they molded these accents, and they created their own accent, and that's where the Aussie accent was born.
those traits decreased as people embraced the Australian identity.
Over 1 million live in Sydney, and another 1 million in Melbourne.
But perhaps the nicest thing of all is this recent innovation by the Commercial Banking Company of Sydney. It's a little card that brings you instant cash.
We've been wandering up and down Little Collins Street now for about 5 minutes. And whilst a lot of people noticed I was carrying a gun, what was amazing was very few of them seemed concerned.
As far as you're concerned, unless you're scripted, you're useless. Unless you're scripted, you're useless.
That 89, it started getting a little thicker. Started getting a little stronger in this 89 clip.
Sorry, Mr. Keating. Anyway, this constant change has evolved the accent into what we know today as Australian English. So why is it so hard for others to get right?
I think it's because of that familiarity. So your brain is always looking for patterns. It's always looking for things that it already knows.
Take, for example, Robert Kaczynski. He's a British actor playing an Australian character in Pacific Rim.
You two are a goddamn disgrace. You're gonna get us all killed, and here's the thing, Ali. I want to come back from this mission.
And it ends up sort of
Yeah, that's more. I'm trying. That's not Aussie. That's like I don't know. It's almost like a tad bit of Irish, Scottish. Kind of like that. I guess if I had to take a guess, that's not Aussie.
Sounding sort of kind of a weird, kind of cockney sort of thing that people do, and you think, that's what your brain is hearing. Your brain is hearing that pattern and then grouping it all together.
Compared to something like this.
You don't care about me. You don't even know me.
There are therapies we know are effective right now, like forsythia, and they don't even appear on the CDC website.
Can you imagine the pain they must be in not knowing where I am?
Now, before you get all defensive in the comments, know there is no one Australian accent.
True.
There are three general groupings of the accent. Cultivated,
Yes.
broad, and general.
Without spoiling, it ends with possibility.
And here's this bloke from the bush up in Beerwah, Queensland.
But nowadays, those definitions aren't really adequate, as we've shifted towards a more general accent.
I need my broad. I need the Steve Irwin accent. I got to say R.I.P. to one of the greatest human beings to ever walk the planet Earth. An absolute freaking legend. Steve Irwin, you are sorely missed here, man. Love that accent.
A better way to group the accent would be Standard Australian, Aboriginal English, and Ethno-Cultural Australian English.
Sometimes we take those things for granted.
Helen picked a good spot near the water and spent the morning surfing and relaxing in the sun.
That last one reflects the fact that everyone has an idiolect. Your own accent is shaped by the history of where you've lived and who you've grown up with, so we all sound a bit different from each other. But there are plenty of common traits.
And you learn over time in Australia to talk without moving your top lip.
What you mean?
Because if you open your mouth, the flies go in.
Maybe because he's a New Zealander, but that's not quite right. The back of the mouth at least should be really open.
So you can feel like you're almost sitting on the edge of your seat, looking down a little bit, like you're feeling like you're looking over the edge of something. And that's going to lift your tongue up at the back and give you that warm, kind of bright quality that really distinguishes this accent. You don't hear a lot of Australians sort of talking like that. You don't hear that kind of dull, what we call a D-nasal sound. Australians are much more likely to have a level of nasality.
If you're aware, we all go up at the end of every sentence. Because we're all too insecure to actually make a statement.
Rising inflection.
So when people are actually making a statement, but they're actually going up in tune as they're talking to you, and you may notice that quite a lot, but again, it doesn't happen everywhere. It's not a distinguishing characteristic, but it is a trait which American speakers, for example, would have to learn.
And finally,
True.
What was that last one again?
The hesitation sound, which is a really, really good way of figuring out how someone's mouth works in a different accent or language.
That's it.
See, it's too tough for me. It's too difficult. I can't put all these things together and that Aussie accent come out of my mouth. I feel like I need to be around Aussies like nonstop for a period of time until I just automatically kind of start adapting to the way they speak, adapting to the words that are being used, and I just have to let it adapt. Not artificially, but what's the word? Y'all know the word I'm looking for. I just have to let it flow. I don't know. I just have to let it adapt on its own. That's what I'm going to say because I can't think of the word. Continue.
So to know that
Let it adapt authentically.
that's where the Australian tongue rests is hugely helpful for, like, if like for Scots, if I'm doing like a Scottish accent,
Oh, that's
that's
good.
their hesitation sound, which is really high and forward. Takes a lot of
she's
effort
so
for us,
good.
but that's where their tongue rests. So for them to just drop back to gives you a sense of the whole landscape that you're working with.
And there are plenty of other common traits like our lack of enunciation and our sing-songy flow. But who knows? With technology connecting us to other cultures and ways of speaking, maybe in 100 years we'll sound totally different.
So it's interesting to see that maybe we might have more of an American influence coming in and less of a British influence. But where that takes us, I don't know. What an exciting journey.
Hi there, thanks for watching. Before this video ends, it's important to mention that learning any accent is a difficult task, and sometimes actors aren't given enough time to learn an accent before a busy production period. So while they might have been able to do the accent offset, they weren't able to do it on set. Maybe. Or maybe they were really just bad.
Or maybe they were, yeah, I can't do it. I can't mimic it. I can't. It's too hard. I'm trying in my head and I'm too in my head about it. It's not coming authentically. It's not flowing naturally. I wish I could do an Aussie accent, but I can't. And that's okay. Because you Aussies are still my family. Y'all are still my peoples. And although I can't speak like y'all, I can still be included in the family. That's all we got. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give a video a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Also, check out the next video.